nation has become. This is not, as often described, the result of a lack of leadership, nor are we really being led from behind. Rather, we are being directly led into a kind of change very few anticipated, much less can easily fathom. Let's review an economic policy that has long outlived reasonable justification, a stall that keeps our borders endlessly porous, a power grab to control the populace, first through our health care and then onward. As Monica Crowley likes to say, if they control your health care, they control you. A treasonous design to buy votes by enslaving more and more of our citizenry to dependents, a Justice Department that legislates by refusing to enforce our laws or to live by them. A traitorous sellout of our allies in exchange for securing new relations with our enemies, a massive global rearrangement that will redistribute our nation's power elsewhere. A long-driven effort to needle away at each of our constitutional freedoms. The use of all available tools to secure executive power, perhaps to ultimately deliver our system to a defiant band of thugs for good. One can see the odd alliance that Andy McCarthy and Steve Coughlin, Diana West, and many others here have spelled out between the world's far-left ideologues of control and those Sharia caliphate-seeking Islamists who assault us from without and infiltrate all critical aspects of our government, media, and culture from within. We do not lack leadership. Our nation cries for different leadership. And that's why we're here tonight. In considering what kind of leaders we need to restore our nation, Lieutenant Colonel and Congressman Allen West is as good as it gets. Allen is a genuine hero of mine at a time when true heroes are hard to find. To receive Frank's invitation to publicly express my gratitude to him makes me the truly honored one tonight. A man blessed with brilliance, discipline, character, strength, poise, charisma, the real kind of charisma, firm vision, clarity, generosity of spirit, and a fundamental grounding in faith. He has it all. I asked Monica what among all of this she would say about Allen, and without skipping a beat, she said, "That's easy, courage." And indeed, as Winston Churchill famously explained, courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. Lieutenant Colonel Allen West demonstrated physical courage throughout his 22 years of Army service, accumulating a battery of distinguished medals and honors, including the Bronze Star. Coming from a family of servicemen, Allen took a look at all of the demands of the military and said, "I want a piece of that." As he rose in rank, his sense of obligation to those he led only grew stronger. It is not merely that he has fought victoriously against Islamic terrorists. Yes, I have put those two words together in the same sentence. Islamic terrorists in multiple tours in Iraq and later Afghanistan, Allen drew attention when he did all that he thought was necessary to save the lives of his fellow soldiers. As he famously said, he would carry a gasoline can into hell to save his troops. At every stage of his career, he was deeply devoted to his men and gave real meaning to the phrase responsibility to protect. Leadership with physical courage. Congressman Allen West projected intellectual courage as well. Defeating al-Qaeda was not a big enough challenge. 2 master's degrees in his pocket, upon his return to civilian status, he turned to battle the demolitionists and defeatists of the far left, now called the Democrat Party. He spoke truth to power, use of power for that matter, both to the quislings in his own party who had fallen into the trance of ever bigger government, as well as to those others who seek to turn America into a collectivist backwater at home and a third-rate power abroad defined by apologies, weak and submissive diplomacy, and a gutted military. Never once did Alan falter in the face of smears on both sides of the aisle or their henchmen in the media and elsewhere. Alan knows who he is, has a command of history, political theory, and facts, and knows how to address and lead his audience with intellectual honesty. And Alan West, the man, breathes moral courage. It is not just the content of his character, he has the courage of character. Supported by his brilliant and beautiful wife Angela, his two extraordinary daughters, Aubrey and Austin, as well as their newest arrival, no, not a newborn, but an exceptional Chinese exchange student, Lynn, who has a smile longer than the Great Wall itself. Alan never compromises what is right. He's very much like a hologram, where each part represents and carries with it the whole. No matter if he is in Congress, leading his next generation TV venture, mentoring young minority conservatives, scuba diving, or barbecuing at home, he knows who he is and is always that. His faith guides him fully. And as with all great leaders, he deeply comprehends that power here is only valuable when serving principle. It will lead to hell when serving otherwise. That is moral courage that does bend history. Alan has never caved to adversity. He has faced difficult challenges, certainly in the military, and has been defeated in elections, most notably for last year's congressional seat. I have no doubt that sinister manipulation will prove to be the cause, but Alan never frets or looks back. As Churchill also said, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Perhaps Alan's own moniker describes him most elegantly, steadfast and loyal. So it is most fitting that we honor Alan on the anniversary of one of our military's greatest accomplishments and greatest displays of courage. Last night, while thinking about what I wanted to say, I watched Saving Private Ryan, a tribute to the great sacrifice that was D-Day. While America had been active in the war, D-Day was the moment in which we truly went all in. And today we again close in upon a time where evil threatens us from within and without, which once again will force us to choose whether to go all in or not. A time in which leadership of the kind for which Alan West stands will be desperately required. If I may take one more moment of your time, Saving Private Ryan also offers another perspective on our current situation. As I am sure you remember, the Ryan family had 4 brothers in the service, and on D-Day, 3 had been killed. Fearing that the death of the 4th brother would end the Ryan family for good, the authorities decided to divert some troops to find, bring back, and protect the 4th brother. The family of principles that sculpts our nation is facing a similar fate. The fundamental foundations, including family, which is being systematically dissembled, faith, which has been evicted from so much of our culture, and full responsibility of the individual. I say full, not just for alliterative cohesion, but because taking responsibility has become a joke line, such as when Hillary Clinton says, "I take responsibility for Benghazi," arrogantly meaning little more than, "There, I said it, now let's move on." With these 3 brothers all dying, family, faith, and full responsibility of the individual, we need to marshal a full-scale operation to save the 4th brother principle, freedom. Once freedom disappears, so does America as we know it. At the end of the film, the Tom Hanks character, Lieutenant Miller, has been shot upon accomplishing his mission.